Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another Standard brew. Today, continuing my exploration of deserts in Standard, now into Temur deserts. For the most part, historically, I've played deserts as a green-black X list, but I realized, the actual only core fundamental deserts cards that I think there are four of Outcaster Greenblade is a must, and four of Free Strider Lookout. Beyond that, I kind of feel like deserts are just a canvas on which you utilize these two like pretty powerful synergistic cards. So I kind of figured I'd dip my toes into Temur today, making use of the idea that if we have either a Hired Claw or an Azure Beastbinder on the field and then cast a turn 3 Free Strider Lookout, we can immediately trigger Crime. Hired Claw targets your opponent with its ping. Azure Beastbinder targets an opponent's creature, planeswalker, artifact, etc. to help our Free Strider Lookout get out of the gates that much faster. So that's the core idea here. Along with that, playset of Irons. I think this is a great Deserts card in general. I like Nova Hellkite still. On to it, just a couple here. Slightly lower curve overall. Couple Oko, the Ringleader, is also something we have access to here. I have a feeling most people aren't that familiar with this card. It's like a 25-cent Planeswalker. I've played with it in previous like Sultai Desert lists. I think it's going to be pretty good here today. We're pretty creature heavy, so that helps quite a lot. And also, there's kind of this idea too of like, if you warp in a Nova Hellkite and copy it with Oko, that's a pretty big burst of damage flying over and hitting your opponent. Otherwise, a decent source of card advantage makes Elk. We're always going to be able to commit crimes on our turn to make full use of its +1. Outside of that, I think importantly, we also get access to Spell Snare, being able to like, whereas classically like Spell Snare is good on the draw because you can go turn 1 blue source and then counter your opponent's 2-drop for 1 mana, right? Great play pattern. Here, it's kind of weirdly the opposite. We want it on the play so we can play a tapped blue source and then counter our opponent's turn 2 play. While only like, because we have tapped lands, it kind of works out nicely for us there, I think. Playset of Burst Lightning, couple into the Floodmaw to answer bigger things. Otherwise, Azure Beastbinder will help with our burn-based removal to kill bigger things. 24 lands today, slightly lower curve overall, including a Pit of Offerings classically. Sideboard, we get a lot of pretty good cards in blue here too. Couple Soul Guide Lanterns, 1 River Churn Monument for grindy matchups, 4 Flash Freeze, pretty great for the mono-green landfall lists running around. Couple Pyroclasms, a few Slag Storm over Pyroclasm mostly, because I expect more mono-white generally right now, and that difference between like 2 to 3 damage is pretty big in that matchup, answering the Sage of the Skies and like Halias and stuff. Couple Winter Night Stories here in the side. I don't know if people typically do this, but it's a very good grindy card for us. We have big creatures to be able to harmonize it pretty well. It's just a little slow in the main, conflicts with a lot of our like other 3-drop stuff. Decided to just try them out in the side today, and then an extra Pit of Offerings. Excited to try this one out. I might play somewhere between 3 to 5 matches, depending on how quick and grindy they are, so let's hop right in. Alright, match 1, starting out on the draw here. Gonna keep this. Turn 3 Greenblade. Early into the Floodmaw if we need to like bounce an Earthbent land, but it looks like this is probably either Dimir Tempo, or perhaps it's just like a mono black. Classically, Cecil is pretty much just a Dimir Tempo card though. Turn 2, Sig Wanderwine Wisdom. I think this card is pretty good. I think it's a little underplayed. Every time it's been cast against me, it seems pretty good. It's a 2-mana 2/2 that can't be blocked and probably draws you a card almost every time. Has a little more extra text that could be relevant, but for the most part, unblockable 2/2 that draws you a card, not bad. We draw a Spell Snare here, so we can go ahead, play a Bristling Backwoods, hold up the Spell Snare, and then maybe we just bounce something at the end of their turn otherwise for tempo. A lot of good cards in hand here. It's just a matter of not getting killed outright before we're able to cast them. I think I'm going to go ahead and block or bounce the Cecil right now, so that if they have Kaito, they have to pick up the Sig in order to cast it, and then I have a Spell Snare on a future turn perhaps to catch it. No Kaito. Plays a Dream Beavers. Cecil back again. Let's go ahead and get a Green Blade on the field here. Grab a Desert to be able to make use of our Free Strider lookout on a future turn. Grab a Bristling Backwoods. We are mostly Gruul still. Moist Gruul today. With Dr. Steve Gruul. Whoever wrote that comment, sorry I don't remember off the top of my head, but it fucking cracked me up. I don't remember the full comment, but someone referred to me as Dr. Steve Gruul. And it just made me laugh so hard. Let's go ahead and block the Cecil here. Enduring Curiosity. So they're drawing right back up. We're a little slow out of the gates here, but they are hurting themselves quite a lot. I think I like getting the Lookout on the field. It blocks the Dream Beavers, opens up our mana for future turns. It's kind of our whole thing. Just grab a Stomping Ground here. And yeah, I mean, like, paying 1 white to give another creature unblockable is kind of sweet, right? Kind of underplayed. I'm going to have to explore this card a little bit. Seems pretty good. Looks like they do have a Kaito now. Quite a lot of damage coming through, but they are tapping out. So we'll be taking... Oh, we'll go down to 3? Ugh. Yeah, not great. They 0 Kaito, so I can kill Kaito with a Nova Hellkite here. They have a Soulstone Sanctuary to fire up. They have 1 damage off of Dream Beavers. Is there any way to survive this turn? Hellkite on Kaito. Lightning Strike on Enduring Curiosity. They fire up the Soulstone. I die. Okay. Yeah, a lot of damage. Little play draw difference situation there too. Kind of a classic problem in this matchup. Very polarizing, I think, in the Dimir tempo matchup, being on player draw. Slagstorm could be okay here. There are definitely going to be situations where it's quite bad. Don't have a whole lot for this matchup generally. I think we should be decent. You could probably justify a couple Pyroclasms just to clean up certain boards, or maybe Slagstorm's better with Cecil in their deck. Let's try out a couple Slagstorm here. Go down. I think Oko is probably fine on the draw especially, or on the play especially. Let's go down the Flood Maws. Although, being able to bounce Enduring Curiosity for 1 mana is pretty nice. Maybe Vibrance is a little slow here. Try it like that. I do feel great casting Vibrance once we get there in this matchup, once we get to 5 mana, but getting to 5 mana is the challenging thing. This is pretty good. Early action, good colors. A little reliant on our top decks here. See what our opponent decides to do. Looks like they're keeping 7 as well. Begin the pinging. Another Cecil. Yeah, Cecil's really pretty good against us. On the other hand, they're going to be hurting themselves quite a bit, hitting us with Cecil, if they decide to do that. And they do. So that damage is going to add up, I think. Slagstorm. Let's assume they have a Blood Pits Drowner here. What's our best play in that case? Probably just like playing a Conduit Pylons, moving in combat, playing a Conduit Pylons. I don't think I can level up a Lizard, but I can play a Hired Claw and then hold up Burst Lightning. Alternatively, I could just like ping a Lush Oasis here and then Slagstorm. But if they have Kaito, that's not that good. Let's go for the Conduit Pylons here. Outcaster Greenblade is a good draw, I think. There's the Drowner. Play another Hired Claw here. I kind of think I just Burst Lightning the Flood Pits Drowner. Keep them off of good Kaito options. I mean, if they want to pick up their Cecil, that's kind of okay. I get to hit back with the Hired Claw the following turn, or... Yeah, I think this is okay. Just clear out their stuff. Flagstorm looking a little rough with our double Hired Claw start. Something to think about. I tend to, historically, like with Jund Deserts, pull out the Hired Claws if I'm bringing in these little wipes, but I think making early plays and giving our opponent something they have to deal with is pretty important in this matchup here. Go for our Green Blade. Seems like a pretty good window. They could have another Flood Pits Drowner, but feeling okay here. Grab a Bristling Backwoods. Hit him with the ping. 5/6 Green Blade. Another Drowner. Slagstorm starting to look okay. They're down to 13 as well, so maybe the damage portion is going to be relevant. Hits me, draw some cards. They flip their Cecil, importantly. Another Green Blade. Okay, I feel like we have a good opportunity here to just play another Green Blade, bounce their Cecil. And they're kind of in a rough spot then, right? Because I'll have two big, beefy boys and the potential to Slagstorm like their board and attack with them. Can't really swing with a Hired Claw here. Go for the Lush Oasis. I guess it doesn't matter. I probably should have played the Green Blade first. And played whatever land I was going to grab. But I think I'm actually just going to grab my utility desert here, Sandstorm Verge. Give me options next turn. Bounce the Cecil right now. Play around any interaction they could have. I could swing with the Hired Claw for a guaranteed 1 damage now, but I think it's fine to wait. Difference being, like, if I Slagstorm pre-combat to deal 3 damage to each creature, I lose out on that 1 damage, but I also lose out on the opportunity to block here. Deep Cavern Bat, that's fine. They take the Slagstorm, but I do still have the Sandstorm Verge that they can't interact with. And sufficiently large Outcaster Green Blades coming in. If I just keep Deep Cavern Bat off of blocks and swing in with everything. Is it Deep Cavern Bat or is it Enduring Curiosity? Or is it Cecil? If I keep Cecil off of blocks, so say I like target Cecil here, swing in with everything, they can't block the Hired Claw with Cecil and then flip it next turn and start gaining life again. They have to give something up. They don't have great blocks in that situation. They can block my Hired Claw with Enduring Curiosity, but then they have to block. They could go to 1 if they were that crazy. They could like block a Deep Cavern, a Green Blade with a bat, and then let another Green Blade go through, and then kill off my Hired Claw with their Enduring Curiosity. But going to 1 is kind of crazy against the Deserts deck. It keeps their Cecil from ever doing anything again. This is fine. Slagstorm back in hand. Next turn, we won't have the mana to Slagstorm and activate the Verge, but we'll have sufficiently large Green Blades to kill them. They can't really attack with... I mean, they kind of have to attack with Cecil, but at the same time, they'll be putting themselves to 6, and then I can take Cecil off of blocks with the Desert here. They swing with both. This feels like a desperate move. They're just trying to dig for something. Double Flood Pits Drowner or something like that. Deep Cavern Bat. Takes the Slagstorm. With that, having an extra blocker here probably means if they do have any kind of interaction, they can, at the very least, survive another attack. But probably not without giving up a Deep Cavern Bat in the process, if that's relevant. Okay, there's a Kaito. Stun down one of my Green Blades, so they're tapped out here. I think I have to force them... Ooh, actually, I don't know if I can win. I don't think I can win with that little move. Yeah, just enough stuff to get through everything here. Yeah, I kind of wish these guys had trample. every time. Drawing another land's a little rough. If we had drawn like a piece of removal, just like a lightning strike, we could have or a shock or anything, just to clear the bat and then make the Cecil unable to block. I think, yeah, I'm not really seeing a line here. Best I can think of is like we do this, force them to block with the bat. We get a Slag Storm that we can't play. I mean, we could have been able to play it, but it wouldn't have been relevant. And then we're left without blockers and no recourse. All right, GG. Well played from our opponent. Well played. On to the next one. Match 2 on the play. Okay. A lot of green cards. No clear way to get green mana. Gotta mulligan this. This is playable. I think we'll probably put back a Vibrance here. Keep everything else. I'm not sure, by the way, that this is like the new optimal deserts build or anything like that. Just exploring options. Once I kind of realized that we don't need to play black, I just want to sink my teeth into this, like this synergy specifically with the ping lands, and see what's the best like support that we can be giving this. Is it just the Jund sort of burn plan with the board wipes in the side, or is it something more slightly tempo-y with cheaper removal, cheaper creatures, or is it something even bigger, like just using these guys to ramp into, I don't know, God forbid, Doppelgang or something, you know? Let's just go ahead and bounce this for tempo, I think. Could also wait to bounce it to trigger a crime in the future. Ooh, another Green Blade. That's pretty good. If we just curve out and play Green Blade, with a Free Strider lookout on the field, I think that's going to be pretty good. I think their Essence Channelers can outscale the Green Blades for sure, but we'll give them a run for their money and be able to take them off of blocks. Start to chunk in. Azure Beastbinders should be decent in this matchup. Not very good if they manage to get a lot of counters up front. One thing I feel like I'm missing here in this list too that I've come to like is Grievous Wounds. The 5-mana enchantment that says like, enchant player, they can't gain life, and also if they take damage, they lose half their life rounded up. Just as a way to justify being on mostly a burn plan that also is like our kind of screaming nemesis backup, like, hey, well, you thought you could like just outgain, you know, our burn, but actually Grievous Wounds is just like kind of infinite damage in a way, as long as you can play some deserts or iridescent vine lashers to support it. Big Amalia. Green Blade on the field, 6/7. With another Green Blade backup. Not enough mana to Sandstorm Verge and cast a Green Blade next turn quite yet. Probably at this point our best draw is maybe like just an Into the Floodmaw for the Amalia, or maybe like a Vibrance. This is just warped though, right? Yeah. Essence Channeler. Yeah, or just like a Vibrance for this Essence Channeler would be good. Big Amalia. I mean, if they swing at me, I think I'll just double block. Get this out of my life. Sure. I will take it. I will take it. I imagine they kill a green blade, but that is just fine with me. They kill off my lookout? Question mark? They're not afraid of my big green blade? And we draw a Vibrance? Huge. Let's go for the Vibrance, and then let's eat up their graveyard to keep the case of the Uneaten Feast from being super relevant in the future. I think, right? Is this solved yet? Not solved yet, but won't be too hard for them to solve it. Yeah, let's grab this for the future. We don't have to rip it quite yet. Play a desert and then hit them for 7 here. All right. Pretty good for us. Huge boys on our end, nothing on their end. Good boys even. Possibly girls. Or some person of an indeterminate gender. Essence Channeler on the field. Aaliyah on the field. Yeah, but Greenblade kind of too big at this point. Greenblade kind of too big. And we have enough mana to Sandstorm Verge and cast another Greenblade. Keep them from trading with the Vibrance here. Hard to imagine a world where they just outright kill me next turn, right? I am at 22. They can gain a lot of life and swing with a big Channeler, but I don't know. Can they gain... Can they trigger this, like, what, 8 times? Probably not. Grab another ping land. Damage could add up. Sorry, not trigger this 8 times. They need to trigger it 1,000,000 times, but, like, play 8 creatures to gain life 8 times, you know what I mean? Probably not going to happen. They might be able to chump my green blades to death, though. One thing I feel like this archetype could really make use of is a cheap card that makes sense, like that has decently high quality, like inherent quality that can give Outcaster Greenblades trample or some kind of evasion in late game situations like this. They fire off a fully kicked restoration magic to gain 6 life, and permanents you control hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. A Vigilant Essence Channeler, completely tapped out here. Another Greenblade. Let's keep the Lurker Bat off of blocks here. I guess just the Channeler off of blocks, right? They have to block both of the Greenblades, basically. Right? Yes. I guess they... Okay, so say I keep this off of blocks. I swing in for 9. They block Vibrance. They block the Essence Channeler. Or sorry, they block the Vibrance with Essence Channeler, and then... I can't force them to block... I can't force them to give up the Essence Channeler here. But I think this is the right play. I can force them to give up a Aaliyah at the very least. They might chump with an Essence Channeler just to put counters on the Ruin Lurker Bat, but... It'd be nice to have a little extra shock in hand. So they go to 1. I have another blocker here, but they have a way to lose 1 life to fly over my stuff. Losing the Aaliyah is kind of bad for them, though, right? another way to trigger their life gain. They have one in hand, but if they spend their time casting this, they need a bit more to really punch me, I think. Certainly possible to imagine a world where they kill me here. But I don't know if it's guaranteed, even with the case being here. They cast Aaliyah, they sacrifice the case. They play Amalia. Oh, they tapped wrong here, I think. They let Auto Tapper tap both of their starting towns, so they don't have a way necessarily to lose the life here to give Essence Channeler flying. Okay, and they shock themselves with the multiversal passage. Fine. Yeah, whatever, dude. On to the next one. Game 2. We can definitely win this. It's a little harder without Grievous Wounds for sure. Might be worth bringing in Riverchurn Monument, just as a very backup sort of Hail Mary plan, in case things go awry. Slagstorm. You see, the problem is this damage-based removal, being in blue, like our damage-based removal, is definitely a little more limited in what it's capable of doing. Whereas, like, in the Jund build, having access to Requiting Hex and having access to Bitter Triumph to manage, like, really big scaling creatures, Azure Beastbinder just isn't enough. I'd really like to see some curve out into Free Strider Lookout with the Beastbinder or Hired Claw hands to feel that out, see whether that's worth it, like that trade-off. But as for now, definitely feeling like I'm missing some hard removal, and blue definitely has like bounce, right, and unable to scream, like tap effect, I guess, but not quite enough. Go down to Vibrance here. On the play for game 2. Okay, it's not a perfect opener. I think Beastbinder looks pretty good on turn 2 here, though. Curious to know if they like kept in Seam Rips. I don't know if they even saw any of our cheaper creatures. Healer's Hawk. And there's now Caster Greenblade. Pretty good draw. Do we want this Bristling Backwoods? No. Because we're definitely going to play the Greenblade next turn, and that'll get us a red source for our Hired Claws. Beastbinder turn 2 is going to help us quite a bit. Being able to, like, manage their either life gainers or the creatures that benefit from gaining life to open up the effectiveness of our damage-based removal. They make a bat. Oko, not a bad draw. Play a forest. Let's lock down the Healer's Hawk here. Cast our Outcaster Greenblade. I think I'm just going to grab a mountain. It won't grow the Greenblade, but it'll let us either cast Oko next turn or Hired Claw. I don't love grabbing basics usually, but having the option to grab basics with the Greenblade is definitely a huge plus. Wouldn't mind getting the Oko on the field, though. No great way to protect it with these little flyers. If they manage to make another bat here, going to be a bit of a problem. Essence Chandler. Okay. Well, they're making a bat. Hit me for 1. Yeah? Yeah? I mean, not having a big definitive board wipe in these colors is also feeling kind of challenging for these matchups. I bet we get a lot of points into, like, control that we might not necessarily have with the Jund deck. Control, or maybe, like... Maybe mono green is a little better game 1, but missing out on board wipes for post-sideboard games feels a little rough. At least with the way that I typically play these lists. I think I have to bounce something, and I think I play a Hired Claw here. I guess I can play 2 Hired Claws. Bounce a Chandler. So let's go swing in with this stuff. Let's turn off the Hinterland Sanctifier here, I think. Probably likely to gain more life for them next turn than the Healer's Hawk, even if the Healer's Hawk is a guaranteed source of life gain. They take the damage. Play another Hired Claw. Pass it to ya. Could play around Restoration Magic. Does that just give Indestructible? I would assume it gives Hexproof too, right? And fire off the Into the Flood Maw in my main phase, but probably makes sense to just hold it here. Ruin Lurker Bat, a lot of little shitters. I definitely need to bring in Pyroclasm or Slagstorm game 2. Or, yeah, just in the future. Intimidation Tactics, gonna whiff. That's nice. All the creatures on the field. Swing it on in. Definitely just going to bounce the Essence Chandler here, but I think I might do it in the end step. I think I'm fine taking this damage up front. Force them to have to recast it next turn. Slow them down that much. Another Lunar Convocation. Bounce the Chandler here. No life gain on these bats entering from the Hinterland Sanctifier. We're down to 7. We draw a Burst Lightning. Okay. Huh. A lot of little guys. Guaranteed to take 6 in the air next turn. I kind of think I like Burst Lightning the Sanctifier and swing out. And they don't have a clear way to get me for extra damage next turn. I can even, like, lock up the Healer's Hawk. Or the Ruin Lurker Bat, I guess, is better. I feel like I have to Burst Lightning the Sanctifier here so I can swing in with my Hired Claws a little more safely. I'm not going to shock myself. Lock up the Ruin Lurker Bat. Although, this gives them a slightly better blocking body. Maybe the Descended bit is a little irrelevant at this point. And, like, just turning off the Healer's Hawk would have been slightly better. I can still pump one of my Lizards, but maybe a small mistake. We could win this. I think we could definitely win this. They go for blocks on this Hired Claw with the Ruin Lurker Bat. I think I'm just going to level up the other Hired Claw and kill off this little bat then. More immediate damage up front. I don't really care about trading with either of these in particular. Kind of the same. Play a tap Stomping Ground. They're at 4. They can only gain 1 life guaranteed next turn. And if they want to trigger the Lunar Convocation, they have to pay a life too. Kind of staying at 4. They draw Plains. They could also draw a card off of Lunar Convocation to trigger it. They pay 2. They go digging. We have 1 guaranteed from the Hired Claw. If we just draw burn, I mean, that's like the most ideal situation at this point, right? You have to swing with the Healer's Hawk. You can swing with some amount of bats because you're making bats regardless. Don't have pyroclasms in my list. Would be really nice. It's kind of at this point draw, burn, or bust, I think. Maybe Nova Hellkite's good enough, even. They'll go to 3. Counter on the Chandler. Trigger these guys. Oh, and they get a little extra damage here. I forgot about that. If you gain life this turn, each opponent loses 1 life. Okay. Desert. Is Desert good enough? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swing. And then play Oko. I'm going to activate its +1. Try to draw into a Burst Lightning. And when I swing, I'm going to turn off the Ruin Lurker bat here. I think that gives me the best odds. Keep them from gaining that much extra life. Put them to 2. See how crazy they are. I mean, there's no world in which they just take 1, right, from the Azure Beastbinder. Lock on the Hired Claw. Chump. Okay. Blocks everything. Makes sense to me. Yeah. We just have to let this go. Might as well kill off the Essence Channeler. It doesn't really matter. We have committed a crime. Let's cast our Oko, leaving up red. Cross our fingers. Into the Flood Maw. Yeah, not good enough here. 1 damage. Close game. Man, hate to see it go like that. Hate to see it go like that. On to the next one. All right, match number 3. Sure. Decent opener. Lead on a Canyon. We get to hold up a Spell Snare or play a Hired Claw, kind of depending on what we suss out here. Steam Vents. Gonna go with the Hired Claw then. Pit of Offerings could be relevant here. Little Izzet matchup. Hit you with another Canyon. No green mana in hand. But don't really need it either. Torch. Okay, there's a green source. Pretty good draw. Hit you with the Lush Oasis. I haven't been that impressed by Azure Beastbinder generally, by the way, so far. Largely, I think it's due to the fact that it's just a 1-power creature. The other problem is a lot of the creatures in the format right now scale. And either scale or do their thing right when they enter. But here we get to kind of do the cute Freestrider Lookout Beastbinder thing. I guess we have a Pit of Offerings too, so it doesn't super matter. But I guess this also kind of gives me the option to hold on to the Pit of Offerings for a little bit. I think that'll be worthwhile. Start the triggers. See if they have a way to disrupt this. And if they don't do anything this turn, we get to like Nova Hellkite and hold up Spell Snare next turn. They swing in. I guess I'll just take it. Assuming they have a shock in hand. Plays a Marauding Mako. Tapped Spire Bluff Canal. Huge for us. Let's go ahead and cast this Nova Hellkite. Try to get your Mako. And then if they like go for an abandoned attachments or something, we have a way to counter that. All pretty nice here. Grab a Stomping Ground. Maybe could have grabbed the Desert there. I was thinking I was missing green, but looks like we're pretty good on all of our colors. Swing in. I think I might go for the Pit of Offerings now, in case they're on like an abhorrent Oculus plan. I think exiling their graveyard could be relevant. Steam Core Scholar making me think that that's a possibility. pretty good control of this game so far. Okay, and they scoop it up. Yeah, I mean, it looks good from start to finish for us there. Post board kind of feels like this could be a Soul Guide Lantern matchup, depending on what the rest of their deck looks like. We're not really sure. Gonna go at least Pit of Offerings. Go down one Eroded Canyon. And then we might want Winter Night Stories here. I would assume they're going to bring in, like, Quantum Riddlers, you know what I mean? And if that's the case, then I want to be able to kind of compete on card advantage. Maybe go down Lightning Strikes. Try it like that. All right. Game 2, on the draw. Decent opener, no red, with a Lightning Strike in hand. Hollowed Fountain, Jeskai. Further increasing my suspicion that this is Abhorrent Oculus and they're on Helping Hand. Very classic, old school standard list here. And by old school, I mean, what, like a year ago people were doing this? We get to surveil a Winter Night Stories into our graveyard, pretty huge. Cast a Beastbinder, pass it back to you, no spell snare. Could have also delayed this and just gone for a turn 3 Free Strider lookout instead. Maybe that would have been better. Restless Ridgeline. Well, we'll go for that. And then we get to turn 4 lookout with a crime, which is nice. Can't keep us from committing crimes. We're just too good at it. But we get lucky on our Desert of Choice. Now we have double green and double red for this Vibrance. And they scoop it up. Okay. Can't beat the Free Strider lookout, I guess. 1 and 2. Well, might as well keep it rolling. Pretty quick matches so far. See if we can win the next couple. Match 4. On the draw. Pretty decent opener here. We can either go turn 2 Beastbinder or delay it. Oh, no. No, why? Why? I mean, I personally love a little Lifegain list, but honestly, kind of ranches deserts. Kind of ranches the whole deserts thing. We're not, like, as burny as the previous Jund iterations, but we still kind of have to play to their life total, and we're not that good, at the very least main board, at dealing with their, like, quickly growing cheap creatures, unless we snipe one before it gets out of hand. Does a little sneak with Leonardo. Excited to see this go. Probably just have to kill this right away. Good thing we have the option to. I'm going to elect to go with the Vibrance this time. Deal with Oleo here. Excited to see that. Excited to test out Leonardo, actually. I'd say this is one of the few Ninja Turtle cards that looks pretty good to me. Aerith, it's like a cheaper Aerith, right, that you can sneak in. But the fact that, like, it also has lifelink is kind of a big deal. Before Aerith, there was no other card in this class that gains counters and had lifelink. Gains counters when you gain life and had lifelink. Like, it's a pretty big deal, I think. Go ahead and ping him. Let's get the Beastbinder on the field. Open up the lookout next turn. Also could be a good window to start shutting down their life gainers. Like if they play the Angel this turn, they'll be able to draw a card off of it, but won't get too out of hand, hopefully. Sheltered by Ghosts. Just trying to go aggro here. Let's get the lookout on the field. Give us a lot of options in the future. Whiff. Not typical to whiff, but it does happen sometimes. Roll with the punches. Looks like our opponent's Hellbent, which is pretty nice for us. So we can kind of draw this out, I think. Let's just go ahead and play a Green Blade. Let's grab another Ping Desert here. And then kind of just slow play this. We don't even really have to swing in. And if they don't untap with anything relevant here, double lightning strike kind of just seals the deal here, I think. Huge green blade. Another case does not help them at all. Feeling pretty good here. Not a ton of little bats running around. Cavernous Souls on Angel. We can just start activating this Sandstorm Verge on our turn to trigger the Lookout. Hit them for 8. They're not going to be able to swing in, and we can hold up a Lightning Strike. And they scoop it up. Great. All right, looked pretty good. A little redemption against the Lifegain archetype, but once again, I mean, they just kind of got screwed based on their draws a little bit there. Let's learn our lesson. Bring in some Pyroclasms. Bring in some Slag Storms. Go down. Probably go down a couple Okos here. We need as much removal as we can muster, I think. Spell Snare is going to be a little less effective into, like, the Leonardo idea. Was it Leonardo? Whatever the turtle they just played against us. I'm not super familiar with the turtles. I think we can counter the sneak cost, or we can counter it on the stack if they cast it as a sneak. What? Actually, can we? No, it's an ability, right? I'm going to cut the Spell Snares. It probably hits quite a lot of their stuff, but I think I'd rather just be a little more reactive with the removal on the draw at the very least. All right, looks like a pretty good opener here on the draw. Had to look it up, by the way, real quick. Sneak is an alternate casting cost, so it'll still go on the stack and you can counter it. Ninjutsu is not. Ninjutsu, you just, as an ability, put the creature into play. Let's go ahead and just kill the Hinterland Sanctifier here. Kind of just get to remove everything they ever love, I think, probably. Leyline of Hope puts them down a card. Should be pretty good for us. Let's go for the Conduit Pylons. A Beastbinder. I think we can skip on that at this point. Kill off the Voice of Victory, and then we have either we can play double red for Vibrance to kill another Voice of Victory or something, or just play an Outcaster Greenblade to contest the board here. Leonardo. Let's just kill this off. Because if I go Outcaster Greenblade and they Sheltered by Ghosts, I think just getting this off the field now is probably better. Although, if I play the Greenblade, they can't play an Angel next turn, and then I can just bounce the Leonardo in the future into the Floodmaw. Let's go with the Greenblade here. See if that's enough. Grab a Backwoods. Just a 2/3 for now. Aaliyah. Gains life once, so just a 2/2. That's fine. And then I think we just Vibrance the Leo this turn, take the opportunity. Although, it's probably just better to Vibrance the Halia, right? Let's do that. Once again, I'm kind of thinking about the scenario where they have land plus Angel next turn. Let's leave back a 3/4 blocker. There's another Halia. That's fine. They swing in. And we'll block. They must have another Leonardo in hand. Oh. I see. Ah, I see. Okay, Leyline of Hope gives them a little window there, too. They immediately gain the life. They don't survive that because of Leonardo's trigger putting another counter on it. They survive that because with state-based actions or whatever, they have a buffed Leonardo post-damage. Okay. Well, that is fine. We can swing in with the Outcaster Greenblade and then bounce the Leyline of Hope if they block with Halia. Otherwise, we can just ping them with a Desert, keep up our options next turn. Hit them for 3. Let's just go ahead and kick a Burst Lightning on this Leonardo, actually, before it really gets out of hand. I think I like that. And then in the future, we can bounce the Leyline, and they'll have to recast it for the full cost, which is pretty annoying for them, I think. They fire up a Dalkovan encampment. Okay, well, this is their whole turn. They're going to gain some life in the process, hit me for a decent chunk. But they haven't really added anything to the field other than drawing an extra card there. We get to go ahead, cast this Greenblade, find another Desert, hit him with a ping. Actually, let's grab the Sandstorm Verge. Good utility here. We'll still ping him here and hold up this into the Floodmaw. Take him down a peg. We are at 7, which is quite low, but they kind of need quite a few things to line up here, I think. Dalkovan encampment. Let's go ahead with them committing to the attack. After they commit to the attack, we'll into the Floodmaw, the Leyline here. Keep them from gaining a significant amount of life. Block the Halia. Put them in a pretty bad spot. Pretty bad spot. Hired Claw, not the worst draw. I think it maybe makes sense to hold back a Greenblade, because what if they have like land plus Sheltered by Ghosts plus fire up the Dalkovan encampment? That's only 4 damage, I guess. Yeah, I guess we get to swing with both of these. I should have played the Desert first, though. Definitely a small mistake. Let's opt for the Pit of Offerings instead, I suppose. Play around possible future Case of the Uneaten Feast. But yeah, I definitely should have played the Desert first for an extra 2 damage there. Hopefully that will not bite me in the ass. Big boys that they have to figure out. But we are at 5. Got a little fish action. Love the fish art, by the way. Kind of an iconic all-timer piece, Rhonda Libby. Shout out. You fucking knocked it out of the park with this one. Swing it in. This seems like a bad sign for me. The Last Ronin's technique. Put me to 1. Okay. 1 with no creatures on the field, though. Oh, no. No. Okay, lots of creatures on the field, though. Yeah, I guess these stick around, huh? That's nice. Yeah, this is definitely another card I want to explore. Seems good. I don't think I can win now. No, I can't win. They can just fire up the Dalkovan encampment. I can only bounce 1. All right. Mono white Lifegain. Taking me to game 3 here. Still feeling pretty good, though. Let's bring in the Spell Snares again on the play. It's kind of the reverse of the classic, but I think the idea kind of makes sense here. Let's go down a Greenblade or 2. Go down a couple Hired Claws. Try it like that. Hired Claws get pretty quickly outscaled by their creatures. Not going to be super significant, I suppose. Probably not really how we win these games, right? Gotta mulligan this. Okay. Well, it could be good. Could be bad, but could be good. Double Leyline. Interesting. Okay. A Tale as Old as Time. Deserts versus the Leyline. Excalibur. Our opponent is all in. All in on this Lifegain thing, huh? 1 mana equipment, legendary. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on Excalibur, charge counter. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on Excalibur 2. See if they have an answer for this Greenblade here. I'm gonna assume Slagstorm is not super relevant in the future. Actually, I'm gonna leave it. And I'm just gonna play the Lookout here. And then next turn I can either Nova Hellkite or Greenblade and find a desert. Leaving it because, yeah, kind of this, not this scenario exactly, but I just think it's possible that either it'll be just fine as an extra bit of damage, or if they do dump a bunch of little guys on the field at once, could be nice to clear out like three rabbits in a row if that's what their hand looks like. Resplendent Angel, a card I do enjoy. Hit you with the Lightning Strike here. Grab a Backwoods. Play a tap Stomping Grounds. Hit you for 3, and with these like kind of do nothing cards invested up front, I kind of feel like it's going to be hard for them to come back from this one. Voice of Victory. Could just Slagstorm the Voice here. Is that crazy? Also could just play a hired Nova Hellkite. Actually, it's probably best to go like Greenblade into Conduit Pylons into Warp a Nova Hellkite. Really advance my board that way. Another Greenblade on top. Well, I suppose we'll put it into the graveyard just to increase our chances of hitting on this Free Strider Lookout. It would have been a fine draw, but I'm going to trigger the Lookout anyway here. Swing on in. Put you to 6. Pretty good. I mean, if they go like Halia and another, like a Hinterland Sanctifier, swing with the Voice, they're going to give up the Voice in the process, but they'll gain quite a lot of life. Kinscare Sentry. Okay. I mean, a card that is pretty good with Excalibur, I guess. But they are just dead to these to this Slagstorm. Actually, I could just double Slagstorm them for swag value, so I'm going to do that. This is kind of funny, right? Hit him with the swag. Move on to match number 5. 2-2 so far. 2 losses up front, but managed to fight back for a couple match wins. Let's see if we can close out with a nice 3-2 record. Also, Swag Storm. All right, match 5 on the draw. I think this is good enough. We don't have blue for these cards, but early red source with double burst lightning, that's pretty good. Springleaf Drum, Hired Claw. Oh no, is this Affinity? Is it Affinity? Dude, I played against this morning. It absolutely fucked me. Really, really hard. Quantum Riddler, maybe not Affinity. Whew. Okay. But yeah, I played against, like, it was just using all of the new Izzet Artifact Affinity cards, Krang, the 2-drop that makes 1/1s when you cast an artifact, so on and so forth. And let me tell you, it just like, it was fast. It produced a huge board quickly. They basically have Cranial Plating now as a card in red specifically, right? But it is Cranial Plating in standard. Kind of interesting. Scary stuff. Yeah, absolutely ranged me. Opponent has a little Splash Portal Riddler situation going on here. Gonna be able to start beating me down. I could just bounce it back to their hand. Probably worth doing that. Representing a Get Out. Splash Portal on the Thunder Trap Trainer. No longer representing a Get Out. So a decent window for us to get a Free Strider Lookout on the field. And we kind of get to do the cute thing that I mentioned before. They might swing with the Riddler here and Splash Portal it for Pseudo Vigilance. They decide instead to just go all in and swing with the Riddler. Yeah, I'm not sure that I ultimately agree with this. So we finally get to do the cute thing. Let's just leave this on top. I think we want that in our deck, at the very least. I don't know. Maybe that's a misplay. Yeah, okay. Maybe a misplay. Immediately punished, because maybe the 6th card was a land, you know what I mean? Immediately punished. I know I just made the same play last game. I kind of felt like in this scenario, though, it's like, it's not a, I don't know. It would be a good draw eventually, but maybe that's flawed logic. I am human after all. Well, I can't see myself winning this really anymore. Missing that land there really hurts. They have a big Quantum Riddler on the field. Pretty wide board, and they get to hold up a get out. Splash Portal on the Riddler. Yeah, let's just move on to the next one here. Move into game 2. Against this list, I think we want Winter Night Stories. And I think we go down the Hired Clause. Maybe go up a land with a slightly higher curve. And then, honestly, Riverturn Monument could be okay. Maybe. Maybe it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy, but I could imagine a scenario where they're like, I don't know, we're trading resource for resource. We're both top decking, and I kind of just get to win out of nowhere. Yeah, maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's wrong, but we'll try it. On the play. Okay. I think I have to mulligan this. It's close, because if they go like turn 1 cantrip, and I get to exile it for blue, I'm kind of doing okay. But it's pretty bad. This is good. Skip on a Beastbinder. We get to hold up Spell Snare on their turn 2 play. Island. Storm Chaser's Talent. Green Blade. Nice if we draw another land. They might just hold up a get out. There's a Boomerang Basics. Let's go ahead and Burst Lightning this Otter now. Play around land. Another cantrip or spell or whatever. Did they keep a 1-lander? Is that what I'm seeing here? No. River Pyre Verge. Storm Chaser's Talent. Okay. Come on. Conduit Pylons off the top. Forest. Hey, I'll take it. Never punished. 3/4 Green Blade. Gonna be a little tough for them, perhaps, unless they brought in Sears. Let's grab green, blue. No, we don't need green, actually. Red? Red, blue? Red, blue. Pass it back to you. Looking pretty good here. The 3/4 stat line, a little tough for them unless they have Seer, which they probably do. They probably do have Seer. Springleaf Drum. Island. Might just pass here. Swing it in. Do we block? If I block, it forces some action, like a shock here, and then they can't hold up a get out for my Free Strider Lookout. And this is gonna trade, probably, right? Torch. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. Basically a 2-for-1, and I get to guaranteed resolve this Lookout. Start popping off. Couple Beastbinders in hand. Looking a little suspect. Yeah, I'm not sold on these. Maybe it's fine in the sideboard. Maybe it just doesn't do enough in the main, though. I don't know. Let me know what you think about the Beastbinder in general, if you have a lot of experience casting this card. It was meta for a while, both in Simic Ouroboros lists and in Dimir Tempo. Well, we just get to kind of play everything out here. I think it's fine to do that. I doubt they have like a Slagstorm or whatever in their list. Actually, I want to hold up a Spell Snare, so let's just play out one of these here. Pretty likely that they're just going to torch a lookout here, though. I at least want to go to game 3. That'd be ideal. We're kind of poised to do it. We just need to draw some good cards here. They give up a Stringleaf Drum. Kill off my lookout. Restless Ridgeline. Not a bad draw. Hit you for 1. Play another Beastbinder. They might have a get out here. But I kind of imagine they're just going to let this resolve. Spell Snare. Alright. Nothing I can do about that. Ridgeline looks pretty good here, though. Boosts our clock quite a bit, and we can continue to hold up Spell Snare with it. Fully level up the Storm Chaser's talent. Could be a problem. But we get a pretty big chunk of damage in this turn. Let's hold on to this Eroded Canyon. Hit you for 6. Pass it back. With this, like, Nova Hellkite or Burst Lightning are lethal. Talent. Doesn't trigger this talent, though. They might level up the new talent and grab probably a Boomerang Basics here. Okay. That's pretty good. A nice loop for them to consistently put out a board, but I kind of think they also have to just, like, chump my guys anyway. River Pyre Verge. Okay. Even more Otters. Not ideal. Lush Oasis. Go for the Ridgeline here. I'm going to submit 0 here, right? Because if I give them a 2-2, they could theoretically, like, block the Ridgeline with everything. But then they're dead to Double Desert. Maybe that's okay. It keeps them from being able to like kill my Azure Beastbinder. This makes the most sense to me too. Just block like that. Let's play a desert. Now they're dead to Lightning Strike. They can continue to put out Otters even if they draw nothing but lands here. Close one. They're doing the Otter thing, drawing an extra card every turn too, hitting their land drops. Storm Chaser's talent. I mean, if we draw a Nova Hellkite and they have Get Out, we can Spell Snare that, so we do beat Get Out here. Another Spell Snare, okay. Continue this. If they have a way to trigger Prowess, a little annoying here maybe. If they have a way to trigger Prowess with my Azure Beastbinder trigger on the stack, they can present a 3-3 blocker under the Ridgeline with a 2-2 Otter. I guess that doesn't make a huge difference. I think I have to force them to make blocks here. I mean, they're dead to a lot of my draws still. Vibrance, Nova Hellkite, like, but it is slipping away. Just double Spell Snare not really helping anyone here. I Spell Snare the first Get Out on their stuff, if that's what this is. Torch. Dealing with both of my creatures here. Okay. Well, I did what I could. Hold on the Lush Oasis. Level up the talent. I mean, Storm Chaser's talent quietly being like the best card in Standard for its tenure, interestingly enough. during spoiler season, people didn't really expect this to be particularly good, but it's like, hey, turns out when you staple like longevity onto what is an aggressive body, essentially, it makes for a pretty good card, right? Super relevant early game, super relevant late game. Get Ottered, I guess, Still, could draw out of this. Outcaster Greenblade, probably not going to be enough. I mean, and look at the scaling on these little guys, too. 4 prowess creatures. We all know how this plays out. I might as well go for a Conduit Pylons, because I don't think there's a difference between them being at 3 and 2. So I might as well try to increase my odds of, like, drawing into a relevant thing here. There's a relevant thing. Pass it back to you, but it's really a question of whether we're dead here or not, and I think more likely than not we are dead here. They level up Storm Chaser's talent. That's actually kind of a fine sign, but it means they're going to bounce my Outcaster Greenblade. Most likely. They don't. Okay. Well, this could be it for us. We could win here. Even if they have a get out or double get out or whatever happening, we just happen to have the double spell snare here. I mean, maybe they just have like another bounce for my Greenblade anyway. Boomerang basics. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just goes self-infinite, Is what it do. Am I not dead here? Oh, no, I am dead. I am dead. All right, folks. All right. Get Ottered, I guess. Get Ottered. 2 and 3. What did we think? Personally, my gut says not nearly as powerful, really, as previous iterations of this list. I think putting ourselves in a situation where let me pop over to the list. I think the beauty of the previous Jund Deserts lists, being on as much burn as it is, and it is basically like we really increase the chance that in those late game situations we're going to top deck for the win, right? We almost did with the Vibrance, but being on these 4 Beastbinders and down Iridescent Vine Lashers and down Channel Dragonfires and that sort of stuff for more like, I don't know, more different interaction, but it's still just interaction, I guess. Not significantly better or worse, I suppose. Just means that like the critical mass of our burn is reduced a little bit. Our reach is significantly lower in those situations. And on top of that, we didn't play against particularly meta lists overall, but Azure Beastbinder consistently looked kind of low impact, in my opinion. Maybe it's fine as a sideboard option if there was another reason to be playing blue, but compared to like a Sultai list, I kind of feel like if you're going to be doing the Deserts thing, it's either like forget about the burn aspect, just capitalize on the fact that you're doing like you have like consistent land drops with Free Strider Lookout, Outcaster Greenblade, right? And do like more of a control shell like my previous Sultai lists, or capitalize on the fact that your deserts, your land drops consistently do a little bit of damage over the course of the game, by supplementing that with a bunch of burn and just using that as a payoff. But the fact that this is a list that is relying on creatures, curving out with creatures, but we also have this like mostly tapped mana base, means that our aggressive lines just fall a little short, and if we don't actually have the reach in hand, we're not that likely to draw. We're less likely, rather, compared to the Jund list, to eventually draw it. Also, the lack of board wipes, I think, hurts a little as well, especially in the matchups we lost. Like, in that like mono white bats matchup, if we had deadly cover-ups, I think we would have been doing much better. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a reason to do this. Maybe there isn't. Maybe this just isn't the right way to do it. Maybe you can get away with Temur for things like early spell snare seems kind of good. A playset of flash freeze in the side seems kind of good, depending on the meta that you're in. And just kind of forget about black. You could also just do like a 4-color list, really. It wouldn't be that hard if you wanted to like play the Jund list and splash blue on some of the deserts for flash freeze for the mono green matchup is kind of an interesting separate idea. Beyond that, definitely going to continue the quest to explore the other color combinations. I'm not sure that Temur is my favorite thus far, but excited to check out Abzan. Excited to check out some of the just like generic 2-color combinations as well. I kind of have a feeling like maybe you do gain some points just by being on Gruul, right? Or maybe you get some points by like, I don't know. Simic could be interesting. Golgari could be interesting. I've definitely done that in the past. But I'm excited to get into some of the weirder ones too. Like, is there a reason to play Bant or a reason to play? I don't know. Maybe I mean I think you have to be green. So Bant is kind of a curious one though. Like, what do you get out of that? Anywho, enough yapping. Appreciate you watching. Catch me on the next deserts video. Or if you like standard content in general, I'll be posting every day. If you liked this video and you've been watching my videos and you're not yet subscribed, I would appreciate it if you subscribed. As a side note, for the people following the Slay the Spire conversation journey, I started playing today. Yesterday? No, I started playing yesterday. Having a lot of fun with it so far. I've beaten a run, right? With all of the characters so far except the Silent. Probably my least favorite generally. Same from the previous one, but yeah, I really like the new characters though. So if you're playing Slay the Spire 2 right now, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it so far. If you have any thoughts, we can have that sort of side discussion. I don't mind at all. Otherwise, appreciate you watching. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.